Hello, my name is Rosemary Ravenel. Welcome to LinkedIn Live Makeover Mondays. This is a space where I sit down for half an hour with someone who has particular expertise to help you excel at Zoom meetings, be it a content creator, be it a makeup artist like today we have Amy Palma, or someone who's going to help you with the technology. In short, we're going to be living on Zoom for quite some time to come, even after the pandemic. So we really need to continue to improve the way we show up, because at the end, we know that this is important for our careers, for our businesses, and for our reputation. So this is a chat. There are questions that you can pose on the chat, and please put them in. We'll try to get to as many of them as possible. So let's talk about Amy. Amy, welcome. Welcome to Makeover Mondays. I know you have a lot to share with us, and we're going to talk a little bit about your background. You're a makeup artist, you are a TV producer, video content creator, and you come from a long background in live productions with press junkets. You worked for Deco Drive for 5 years as a producer, segment producer. You've been at Fox, CNN, NBC. Tell us about some of the sexiest assignments, or perhaps the most harrowing assignments you've had as a producer.
Thank you for having me, Rosemary. I appreciate it. Oh gosh, the sexiest assignments. I've done a lot of really interesting, incredible things. I'm very fortunate. One of my favorite assignments was New York Fashion Week, which I covered. I believe it was 2002, or 2001. It was right after 9/11. And I went up with Belkis Naray, who's a dear friend and a wonderful colleague, and produced a week-long series on New York Fashion Week behind the scenes, which I absolutely loved. And when I was there was when I first saw the makeup artists and saw what they were doing, and I loved it. And I decided to also explore that aspect of the television production industry. So I went to makeup school on the side while I was still a producer and started doing that as well.
Great. So you can talk really to everything that we need to know from a professional producer, makeup artist, TV news person, because you've also done reporting, how we can improve how we show up here, because still people are struggling. People are still struggling. Can you believe, Amy, with like, do I even turn on my camera, right? And sometimes when I see these polls or people write to me about, Zoom tips, it's like, okay, I don't want to turn on my camera because I'm not camera ready. So I'm saying, that 90% of the way we process information, our brains process information, is visual. So if you're not using that to your advantage, it's like, hello, it's just so obvious that with just a little effort, we can really show up as our professional best. And I know that you have, if people haven't noticed already, half of your face is made up.
Half of my face is done.
The
other half is not done.
Because you're going to show us in under 3 minutes, right, how you can go from not camera ready to camera ready in 3 minutes. So you have the floor. Take us through your tutorial.
Sure. So a lot of my friends say, oh my goodness, I don't have time to do makeup, and what's not worth it because I'm only going to be on Zoom a little bit. And, they think it's all or nothing. Like, oh, you have to spend an hour on your hair and makeup, and we don't have time for that. But what I do is super quick, easy. It takes about 3 minutes, seriously, and it really makes a big difference. So, I'm not going to spend a half hour, an hour doing my hair and makeup for Zoom either. But even though I'm a professional makeup artist and I could, but I'm busy. So I have my kids home some of the time while I'm working, and, everyone's busy doing a million things. So, okay, this is really quick. Okay, so first, my hair looks like a mop naturally. It takes me an hour to do my hair. So I'm not going to do that. So what I do so that I look Zoom professional is just put it back like this, get the mop in the back, so I look polished. Okay, then you have these little hairs up here, which I don't know if you can see them. They're called flyaways.
I deal with it all the time. It's like, it's like one little weird one hanging out in the top.
Exactly. So what I use mousse. This, you can also wet it, and you just put a little bit on the top, and what that does is it gets rid of the flyaways. You can also use hairspray, but I personally just don't like the feeling of hairspray and the smell. Okay, so there we got that. I have my earrings. I think earrings make a big difference. Okay, the most important things for Zoom, one tip that I learned in news is you always have to start with the most important information in case you run out of time. So same with this. So most important is eyeliner and lips. That's what's really going to make your features pop on Zoom. Now, if you have time, then you can do your powder, your blush, your bronzer. Okay, but let's just do really quick. So I'm going to do my eyeliner on the top.
Okay, and what are you using? A pencil?
I'm using a brush, a very thin brush, which I love.
Okay.
And a gel liner for the top, okay? Because that gives you the best line. It creates a look of like liquid liner. A lot of people aren't comfortable doing this. I'm going to do a video on this, but if that's too hard for you, then just use a pencil.
All right. Now, do you do underneath too?
Now, underneath, I use a pencil because it doesn't smudge as much. The gel will smear more underneath. Okay, so now we're going to go under.
Right.
Now,
and
I don't always...
different color? Is that a different color or the same color as the one on
black.
top?
It's black. I like black the best. Now, black, you know, it is a little harsh for in person, but remember, on camera, you have to do like stronger makeup because your features get lost.
Right.
So that's why we're really emphasizing the eyes. And also because I'm not doing eyeshadow, you want to have more dramatic eyeliner. If you're going to do eyeshadow too, then you can soften the liner. But since this is just really quick and I just want to make my eyes noticeable. Okay, then if you have time, you can do mascara. If you don't have time, don't do the mascara.
Okay, because it's about the definition, right? It's about
the definition. It's really about the most important thing is the eyeliner and the lips.
Right, because video flattens you out, right? It flattens you out, and like you're like one big.
Exactly. I look like a blank piece of white paper. So you need to like just imagine if there's a white piece of paper and you're drawing like eyes and lips on there, and then all of a sudden you have a face. Okay, so now I'm going to do the lips.
Okay, and what about the shade? Now I see that you're using a shade that matches your top. Is that desirable?
That's desirable. If some people don't like red, they feel like it's too strong.
Okay, but you for your skin tone, it looks good. Now, obviously, we're talking about different skin tones and hair color.
Right. My recommendation is to use deep, you know, no nudes, because that will wash you out. I love nude lipstick, but on camera you need more color. So if you're not comfortable with something bright like red, you can use like your color is like a mauve is very pretty. You know, anything with a little more color is going to stand out. So then if you have time, you can do powder. This is important for men, especially because men look shiny. So anywhere that you're shiny, you want to do powder.
Okay, I know that there's men who don't even want to use powder, and I know you have special advice for men who are reluctant to wear makeup, and they don't realize how they show up like as not greasy, but like not necessarily trustworthy because they're like so sweaty, and
right.
they don't know that they can blot it, right? They can use powder. What else can they do?
Yes, you can use blotting papers. I feel like blotting papers don't really get enough of the sheen off. There is also powder. This is just a little bronzer. Okay, so that's it. Done. Is it perfect? No. Is this an application I would do for a client? No. But now I look a lot better for Zoom, and that's it. It doesn't have to be perfect.
Before we see you before and after, I want to take a question from Pamela. She says, what's the best color lipstick to use? And maybe we can go a little deeper on that. Here we go, Pamela. But in terms of Pamela, you're blonde as well. So are we looking at, is red almost like if you can only had one color lipstick near your desk, your video, whatever your camera you're using, is red like the best color you should use?
I would say like a mauve, like a raspberry, or like a deep rose, because that's going to go with everything. It's not going to clash. Red is not for everybody. Red's going to clash with certain things. So I would say a rose or a deep mauve. And that looks great. It gives you, some vibrancy.
Good. Well, thank you. And Monica, I think we answered your question in that, the key points are just what you said. I think you have an acronym. Don't you have an acronym?
Yes, I do.
And it is?
The acronym is HELP. Okay, so it's hair. Get those little flyaways down. Put your hair back if it's a hot mess like mine. If you have short hair like Rosemary, then obviously you do have to spend a little more time styling it. Okay, so we have hair, eyeliner, lips, lighting, and then powder. Help.
Okay, great. We're going to talk about lighting in a little bit, but let's do the reveal. Let's see you before and after, shall we? And see how that contrasts. You see? It really is remarkable because before you're just all, because of your blonde hair, right? You're all washed out. Like you said, that piece of white paper. And then on the right, we see the definition of your features, right? Your lips, the smile is even more pronounced. You look healthier, would you say?
Absolutely.
Yeah, cool.
And, we feel better when we have makeup on. I know I do. When I'm home, during the lockdown and I'm not wearing makeup and you see yourself in the mirror and you just feel like, ugh. Yeah. And then when you have your makeup on, I'm just eyeliner and lips, really. It makes me feel totally different. I feel a lot more confident and polished. And then, people are going to be more likely to go on camera if they feel better, I think.
Sure. Now, do men sometimes use a little liner? I believe sometimes they do, right? If their eyes are a little small,
they do, but I wouldn't recommend that for the average man because that's going to probably scare them too much. And it takes a pro to really know how to blend it very soft.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't recommend that for the average man. If I'm doing a photo shoot or something, you can do just a teeny bit of powder in like the outer corner just to give a little definition. But I would say for the average man, don't go there. Kids, don't try this at home.
Okay. Your eyes look enormous now. They look enormous. Right. You have big eyes, but you really accentuated them. Let's talk about wardrobe because you're wearing red and I know that, and I'm wearing cream. And typically if we were working in broadcasting, conventional TV broadcasting, they say, don't wear red because it bleeds and don't wear white-ish colors because it just throws off the lighting. But the rules are a little bit different for Zoom. So what can you tell us about that?
Sure, absolutely. That's a great question. And that's another thing that can really make a big difference. Wearing jewel tones, colors that pop, are really going to help you stand out more and give you vibrancy. So
we have an example. Can we show the example and then you can talk about them? Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have 4 examples, I think. Yeah, we have Amanda Gorman and Oprah and Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez and this unnamed young man in a purple shirt. But tell us about these colors and why they work.
Sure, absolutely. These are like jewel tones, and jewel tones are wonderful for television and also for Zoom, again, because it gives you a pop of color. So turquoise, blue, pink, hot pink, fuchsia, purple are beautiful on everybody. The yellow is beautiful on dark skin. Because it's a contrast. For example, with me, I'm very pale, so I use red or brighter colors because it contrasts with my pale skin. So if you have darker skin and then you put yellow, it looks really beautiful with her skin tone. It almost looks like she's, I don't know, like illuminated. If I wear yellow, though, it's not going to look great on me because I already have yellow hair and then my skin is very white. So depending on your coloring, like for example, you, Rosemary, since you have brown hair, you could wear the yellow and look pretty because that gives a nice contrast. But with me, there's no contrast. If I wear yellow, there's no contrast. So then it looks flat and washed out. Mm-hmm. But these are great examples. Don't be afraid to wear some bright colors and, brighter lipstick.
And guys, I mean, the purple shirt looks really good.
Absolutely. I love that purple. I love blue, royal blue for men. I think always looks wonderful. Any of those colors. Some men are a little shy with that, but I think it's great. It makes them look more vibrant and stands out more.
Good. Now let's take a look at what not to do. We have an image of what patterns are just absolutely awful. And we know this works the same for broadcasting, like the moire pattern, like the little thin lines or the zigzags or the small checks. And I still see some people, some professionals on cable news still wearing herringbone, which really starts to get electric. So tell us a bit about what to avoid here.
Sure, those are hideous. That just looks horrible on camera because the lens just doesn't pick it up. And the one on the top right, the lens doesn't pick it up and it creates this weird distortion. And then the other ones are just too busy. It's just not good on camera. You want to go with solids.
Right. Unless the polka dots, I know that Kate Middleton famously wore this a black dress with white polka dots, and that sort of worked for her. But and she got a lot of play in the fashion magazines. But the dots were rather big. But these are very little, right?
Well, that's a good point. I mean, I love polka dots actually, but I just think for Zoom, it's too much. I don't know what Kate Middleton, if you're doing a photo shoot or like an interview on television, that's different. But in Zoom, I feel like it's just too busy.
Right.
I think the solids look much better.
Good.
Just to keep it simple, just go with a solid.
Great. We have a question from Dana, and it's a great question. She asked, these are great tips. She says, what about black? Everyone's favorite go-to color. Yay or nay?
Well, that's really going to depend on the skin tone. I personally would say no. I know there are some people that really love their black. I just think black is very harsh for when you're on camera. Now, what I would suggest is wear a white, like for example, if you're gonna wear a black blazer or a black or a navy blue blazer, then you wear a white shirt underneath it. So then you have the white contrasting with the black, then it looks really cool and nice. And that looks very polished and professional. But when you have the black next to your face, it's very harsh, especially for us, mature women. It's not gonna flatter our skin. It makes us look kind of washed out, and you want to add vibrancy to your skin, and you do that with jewel tones. The
Right.
jewel tones are what creates vibrancy.
And I found that navy blue, gray, and black sometimes present the same. Like there isn't that much definition as it would be in real life, right? So, I mean, I think all those colors generally would fall into the black category, wouldn't you say? Because it depends on how much light
Yes.
I was picking up the definition, because the gray will look the same, and as well as dark brown. Now,
Absolutely.
I know I had a conversation with you earlier about black backgrounds and how you need to contrast with your background. Talk a little bit about that, because a lot of what we wear sometimes has to be coordinated with where we are, right? The setting, whether we're in a studio or we have a virtual background. Tell us about how we should plan our wardrobe based on our background or our virtual or physical backgrounds.
Sure, definitely. Well, if you have, we have a full screen of the dark backgrounds, right? With your
Yeah, but we can show that right now as an example. So this is an event this was last week, and I and Claudia were on top. We moderated this event, but these were all the speakers below us, and everyone was coordinated with a very dark background. So we asked that everyone wear either white or cream or beige, and you can take it from here, because I think that this is an example of how it gets coordinated based on the brand, but that you have to wear something that contrasts, right?
Absolutely. So I think this looks really cool because you have the dark background and then the white pops against the dark. So that's an example of creating contrast. Because you have that dark background, if you were wearing a dark shirt, it would just be way too much darkness and look kind of like morbid. But in this case, the white looks really cool against the dark blue. And it pops. So it's all about pop and contrast.
Right.
So that looks great. I think also if you're doing like an event like this and everybody wears the same color and has the same background, it just creates really nice branding and a nice seamless polished look.
Beautiful. Now, green screen. Some people make the mistake of wearing a color, right, that's very similar to the green screen. Tell us about what not to do with green screen.
Yes, I've done that before. That's happened to me. I've done that when I've been on set, like happened to be wearing green. It's funny. Basically, you look like you're floating. So if I was wearing a green shirt right now and I had a green screen, all you would see is like my head here. That's how they do special effects in movies and things like that, is the person wears like a green full body suit and all you see is the head. So don't wear green if you have a green screen. If you are going to wear green for some reason, like you have to, like say that's your brand color, then you can actually get a blue screen background.
Oh, okay. Didn't know that. Okay. So physical blue, like the color blue in that.
Mm-hmm. There's such a thing as a blue screen background.
Okay.
Yes. That's a little more complicated, so probably not for the average person to deal with. But like in production studios, if the person has to wear green, we have blue as a background. Or if somebody shows up in like a turquoise or something and they have a green screen, then or you switch, you got to switch it.
Right, right. And tell the people watching, because I think people still don't realize that just about every newscast has a huge amount of content that's created on green screen, not only the weather forecast, right?
Absolutely. Everything now is pretty much virtual. I mean, if you look at the sets, there's a lot of virtual sets. Yeah, pretty much everything is green screen.
Right. And that just creates a challenge, when you're trying to make it look like it's not, right?
Right.
Now, lighting is crucial, because you can have the best makeup, you can have the best wardrobe, you can have the best background, but if your lighting is off, then it's not working. So tell us about the basics, like in what time we have left, just a real crash course on lighting. And I know we have an example of some of the lighting you recommend that's sort of quasi-professional, but you can buy it on Amazon and you can set it up in your home studio. So take it away. Lighting is super important.
Sure. So one thing is, I mean, lighting in broadcast studios that I've worked in, I mean, they spend like $20,000 on like their basic lighting setup. I mean, it's amazingly flattering. It makes me look like 20 years younger. I want to live in those studios. So lighting is just makes such a huge difference. Okay. But obviously most of us are not going to have lights like that. So the most flattering lighting that we can have is actually free, and that is natural light. Okay, so if you sit in front of a window, which is what I'm doing now, so my window is directly facing me. That creates even natural light. That is the best light in the world. Now, that's not possible for everybody, depending on your setup in your home and what time of day it is. So that's when you need to have studio lights. So I recommend Newer lights. I do have a link on my website if you go to amypalma.com.
Newer is the manufacturer, right?
Right. Newer is the manufacturer. They sell them on Amazon. And they're just basic studio lights where you have 3 lights. You have one here, and then you have one that's kind of above right there, which is the main light. And then you have one on each side because you want to have even light.
Look at the video clip so we could get a visual of what you're talking about. Yeah. Okay. So this is the side one.
The side one.
I see. That was above your head a little bit, and the side. Okay.
Okay. So that's going to cost you a couple $100. There's lots of different options. You can also get a small light that you can hook onto your camera, like right there, right above, If you have a smaller budget, just one right there actually makes a big difference. The main thing is that you want light in front of you. You don't want ceiling light. If you only have ceiling light, that is going to create those dark shadows.
Oh, really?
And make you look like the Grim Reaper. No bueno. So,
right. Because you said that one of the things that's done professionally to make people look younger is to have these really diffuse lights, like above, like at a 45-degree angle, so that you don't see the shadows
under
the eyes.
They fill in the bags right here. Right. They fill in wrinkles. All this just goes away.
For men and women.
Right.
So men have it too. There's a question about ring lights. Don is asking, I see those round lights, often circle-shaped. Please address.
Sure, that's a wonderful question because ring lights became very popular. I mean, it's better than nothing. I'm really not a huge fan of ring lights because, number one, they do kind of create like a circle, which you can see sometimes. But it is, listen, they're very inexpensive. A lot of people get by them. It gives you some light. So it's better than no light. At least it's in front of you. Okay. As opposed to that ceiling light. But again, if you can have a natural light or, like a rectangle. Well, I need to have some video of that. There's these small rectangular lights that sit right in front of you that cost, I don't know, like $50. We can provide a link.
Yeah,
I'll put a link on my website.
I have this right now, but I'll tell you an anecdote about the round lights, because sometimes, because I can't see very well and I have to read the chats, I have to put my glasses on, right? But it's very difficult to not get the reflection of the lights on your glasses. There's an angle, right, Amy, that you have to put the light so that it doesn't reflect down your glasses. But generally, it's really a matter of keeping the angle just right. But when you're moving your head and you're reading something on the screen, sometimes you catch the two little rings. And that's just, to me, when I see a replay of something I've done and I see those two little rings on my glasses, I go crazy. So I don't use the round, the circle, the halo light anymore, because it's so difficult to avoid. But that's something, right, that can be avoided with the rectangular, the newer, the panel lights, I think they're called.
Right. I think that would still create a glare, but you're not going to see the little circles. But you pretty much, it's hard not to get a glare when you have glasses on. I mean, I've seen in professional studios you don't, but that's because those lights are, they've got a much better setup. And they have different type of lighting. That's, like the $20,000 lighting. But for the rest of us, it's glasses. Unless you have natural light, the light's always going to create a glare.
Yeah. About $100 or so, you can get something decent, or a little more?
Yes, absolutely. I'll put a couple more options up on my website for other options that are more affordable. Just a basic light.
We have a question before we need to wrap up. This is Kaylee. She's asking, I've heard that women over 50, it might not be good to put liner under the eyes. It makes you look older.
Thank you, Kelly.
That's all the time, by the way.
Yes, that's a great question, Kelly. Thank you. That is true in everyday life. Absolutely true. But for Zoom, we want our eyes to stand out more. So that's why this is kind of like TV makeup, which is different. So for Zoom, if you want your eyes to stand out more, I think it looks much better. But for everyday life, I don't put eyeliner under my eyes either. So I agree with you there. And then if you're outside in Florida, which is where we live, the liner runs and melts. Right. I have a question that's not on the chat, but a friend of mine who I told that we were doing this today said, be sure to ask her how to get the angle so that you look thinner on camera. She said something about a 3/4 or putting your one cheek to the lens. Is there a technique to make your face or your upper torso look thinner? Well, that is a great question. So there's a couple things going on with that. When you're standing, it's different. Like if you're doing a photo shoot, that's a different technique. We always want to turn to the side a little bit, which I could try to demo, but I don't know if it's going to work with where I'm sitting. You always want to kind of turn to the side and then face forward, and so you see your silhouette more. But we can drop in a picture there later. But that's for like a picture, okay? For Zoom, the main thing is you don't want to have your camera below eye level, because if you're shooting, I don't know if I should move my camera and show everybody, but and when you're taking a picture, you never want to shoot, like if someone like squats and takes your picture like shooting up, number one, they see your nostrils. But number two, it's always going to make you look like you have a double chin and, old and saggy. So up, you want to have the camera up here when you're taking a picture, and you're always going to look younger. So same token, you always want to have the camera slightly above eye level. Okay. If it's below eye level, you're going to look like you have a double chin. Great chicken neck. A little bit of chicken neck. And in terms of side, well, maybe a little bit to the side, but then you can't really see the lens. Well, but I think you've given us a little. See, like I know this is my better side, so I kind of turn a little bit here. Everybody has a better side. See, that's not my better side. That's my better side. So you kind of, work it a little bit. Terrific. We're just out of time, but I want to get your tips in here, and I want to let people know how to get in touch with you. So I like to close these lives with give everyone 3 solid tips they can put to work right away. Wonderful. Okay. Do we have the screen? Hold on. There it is. Number 1. Oh, help. Oh, yes, the help. So remember, hair, flyaways, pull your hair back, lips, brighter lips, light, natural light, or buy yourself a nice fill light, and powder. Okay. And by the way, the powder you can get at any drugstore. This is nothing special, right? Just regular translucent powder. You can get powder at a drugstore or like MAC. I love MAC, but yeah, drugstore powder works fine. Easy. Okay. Next. I like L'Oreal. As far as drugstore brands, L'Oreal is a good one. Okay. NYX too. Okay, wear colors that pop. Again, no black, no gray, unless you wear white underneath. So the jewel tones, the berries, the sapphires, the emerald. Well, no emerald if you have a green screen, but those jewel tones that we talked about. And then lastly, Zoom is like life. Whatever happens, keep going. So, listen, it's not going to be perfect. Your dog's barking, your kid interrupts. You just got to go with the flow. Everybody's in the same boat here. We're all dealing with a million things going on in our house, and it doesn't have to look perfect. I mean, even my background's not perfect. I had a little bit of Zoom anxiety coming on here with Rosemary because she has the perfect background. But, we just got to go with the flow and do the best that we can do.
Right.
Put on your lipstick and a jewel tone top and call it, just do it.
And just a little touch of the flowers and everything, just really, and you have some nice artwork behind you. It's possible, folks, to do what we've done here with very little budget, just a little imagination, and understanding that the way you show up speaks to your brand, and you are the best ambassador for your brand. So if you don't show your face, you're missing out on all your power is really going to waste. So this is the visual medium. So use it to your advantage. Amy, our time is up. I've so enjoyed talking with you. I hope you come back and we can explore this a little further. Thank you for those great tips. Now I don't mind telling my daughter that I'm going to use eyeliner in my lower eyes so that my eyes can pop a little more. Thank you for sharing such great information.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Okay, so this is the way we can get in touch with Amy. She's got lots of resources on her website and on her social. And if you want to check how well you do Zoom and check your Zoom IQ, you can visit my special quiz, which is getyourzoomscore.com. And you can take the quiz and find out how well you rate. And then we can also look at programs and free courses that can help you improve your IQ and your aptitude to show up your very best on video calls. Amy, thank you. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you next week at the same time, same station, noon. And my guest is going to be Joel Staley, who's going to be talking to us about media training and media relations and how to do amazing interviews on Zoom. So thank you all for watching. See you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.